Hello, hello, wherever you are. My name is Lebo. This is the Soul Dive. I am your host. Yes, we are back. Whew, yeah, hey. It's been quite a roller coaster. We had a bit of a break because, of course, our time slot on the radio was being used for the matriculants to help them with the curriculum and stuff. But we are now able to be back and live with you. Thank you so much for tuning in. We don't take ever this time for granted that you do spend this time with us and be able to soul dive with us. If you're new to the show, welcome very much. We are so excited that you have found us. Go ahead, relax. As a matter of fact, that is what we do when we begin the show. We start by doing a check-in. This is a time where you get to pull yourself towards yourself. No matter where you were today, no matter where you've come from today, no matter what your day was like today, this is a moment that is dedicated only to you. This is a moment in which all you need to do is just be. It's about just being. You don't have to be any of the many words that you are called. You don't have to be anything, any description, any word. You're just the sovereign being that is able to connect with yourself on a deeper level. So I invite you to find a way to sit comfortably. If you are able to carve out about 5 to 7 minutes just in the beginning to sit comfortably and take this moment as we do a check-in. Right. If you are in a position to put your feet firmly on the ground, that helps to just ground you. If you are finding yourself feeling like you need to just touch what is real, and you put your hands facing down on your knees so that you can ground yourself to yourself. If you're finding yourself that you're wanting to connect with all that is energy, that is powerful, that is all about us, you can go ahead and open up your palms, facing them heavenward, because of course that is how you do that. Right, starting with your breath. You may close your eyes or keep your eyes open, whichever one is most comfortable for you. Breathing deeply in once and out. Another nice deep in breath and out. One more deep in breath and out. Okay, now go ahead and just normalize your breath. Find your normal rhythm of breath, breathing as you normally do, whether your breath is shallow, whether your breath is deep, however you actually normally breathe. Go ahead and find your natural breathing rhythm and observe your breath. Observe whether you are breathing shallow, whether you're breathing deep, whether you're breathing long breaths, whether you are breathing short breaths. If your breath is hot, if your breath is cold, if your breath is coming in, your breath is going out, just become extremely aware, vigilantly aware of your breath in this moment. Vigilantly aware of your breath. Okay. You are aware of your breath coming in. You are aware of your breath going out. You are aware of what is happening, what is real and true within yourself in this moment. Breathing in, breathing out, just aware of what is real and true for you. Yes, thoughts come and go. Allow them to come and go all the way out. Come in and go out. You don't need to pay close attention to your thoughts. This is about your breath. This is about the one thing that connects us and that's common to every single one of us as living beings on this planet. We all take a breath. That is what makes us alive. That is what keeps us on this planet. Breathing in, breathing out, aware of your breath. Noticing your breath. Notice where your breath touches you first as it comes in. Notice where in your nostrils you feel your breath first. Right. Is your breath hot? Is it cold? Are you breathing in your left nostril or your right nostril? Yes, you are still thinking, but we are not focusing on the thoughts. We are letting the thoughts come and go as they do. Now hold your breath for a count of 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, and out. Breathe longer out, completely. Now breathe in deep for a count of 6, breathing in. Feel your breath fill your tummy. And out with a smile. Okay, breathing in again for a count of 6. In, and out completely. In, out. With a smile. Appreciate your breath. Give a thought to how you don't know how you know how to breathe. You don't know. You don't have to wonder to yourself or work yourself up, scheduling how many breaths you're going to take a minute, or working out how many breaths it's going to take to keep you alive for a day. You don't have to work any of that out. Appreciate how it just works, and you can rest in the knowledge that it happens and it works automatically. Marvel at the wonder of your breath, the breath that keeps you on this planet, because of course the day you stop breathing is the day we can say bye-bye. Every single time, breathing in, breathing out without effort. I invite you to take this moment to silently or out loud say these words. I am enough. I do enough. I have enough. Now go ahead and internalize these words. And again, silently or out loud, say these words to yourself. And feel them. The same way you just felt your breath going in, going out. Determined to feel you are enough. And say, I am enough. I do enough. I have enough. In that with a smile. If there's any other words that you want to say to yourself, go ahead and say those. This is a moment to love on yourself, to reassure yourself that everything you are is exactly everything you need to be in this moment. And when you finish, stretch your arms out as far as you can. Bring them back and wrap yourself in a hug. Give yourself an appreciation smile. This smile is for you and just you, appreciating yourself. And of course now, in perfect soul dive fashion, we dance. Remember to dance, for real. Shake it out. Look silly if you must. But dance with me. Okay. So I did post a little bit about what it is we're going to talk about. And that was your dance song. It's a bit mellow. It's a bit chilled. Of course, today is a public holiday and we are allowed to be chilled if we want to be. So go ahead and send us WhatsApps or comment on our Facebook live feed, which is currently going on the Soul Dive group right now. So if you're wanting to talk to us, we are available for that. Today, the topic of today, I'm so excited about it. Not only because it's actually our first time in 3 months on the Soul Dive, but because it's something that, we couldn't have come back online at a better time. Purely because I feel like we've been needing to talk. We've been needing to be part of the conversation. There is huge conversations going on in the world right now. And a lot of them are to do with us, how we handle life, how we handle the world. And in fact, I feel almost like as Soul Dive, we've been preparing for a lot of this for the longest time, because of course there is the need to be resilient, to be able to deal with challenges. And I mean, we've had our entire world change. Our entire world has flipped around. What bigger challenge than that can there be, right? So I'm excited to be back with you online. I'm going to tell you, okay, if you notice, we've got a little bit of a thing. There's much less light in the studio right now than we usually have. So I'm not going to be able to read a whole lot for you unless it's on my laptop, which is fine. But here is the topic of today. The topic of today, I titled it, One Thought Can Change Your Life Forever. One thought can change your life forever. Oftentimes we're very able to say one word from God can change your life forever. One word from the right person can change. And all of those are right. But your thoughts have much more power in your life than anybody else's word, than anybody else's prophecy, than anybody else's motivation, than anything anyone else can tell you. As a matter of fact, right now, you could be hearing me say, one thought can change your life forever, and tune yourself out to where you don't receive it. I am here to tell you to take back your power, because your circumstances, my circumstances, don't need to be limitations for us if we don't allow that. Whatever I think my limitations are is what will create insecurity in me and will make me self-sabotage at every turn. I will meet people who are very ready, very willing, and able to believe in me with everything, and I will find myself not stepping up because I've already told myself all the thousands and thousands of reasons why I should fail. And of course, if I have told myself that, nobody else can actually override that which I tell myself. And that's really what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about the fact that in your life, in my life, you are the authority. I am the authority on my life. And no one can override what it is that I say. And I'm going to give you some examples as well. I'm also going to give some practical things and practical ways in which you can actually look at your circumstances and snub your nose at them, because you know that you are bigger than them. Let me just tell you that this comes from a deep-seated belief that I have, that if you find yourself in a situation, then you are equal to that challenge, because either you have attracted that challenge into your life to show yourself mighty in it, or so that you can prove a strength you already have. The fact that that challenge, that situation has presented itself in nobody else's life but yours, means that you, of all people, are better and equal to that challenge. You can defeat it. I've been reading a book, I forget the author's name, and I really, really like his writing, but he called it David and Goliath. And he's actually talking about how when we think of advantages and disadvantages, a lot of times we are tempted to think of them all in the same way. Let me explain. So when I think of advantages in my life, I am actually using a set of criteria that oftentimes is externally based to judge the advantages and disadvantages that exist in my life. However, being the person who is in my life, I am in the unique position to evaluate everything that I have, I know I am and have experienced, and pull it together to a way and a function that nobody else would be able to. But you see, where this begins, it begins with a dream. It begins with a concept of oneself, with a concept of myself that is able to answer the all time, all world question of the universe. The universe, God, Allah, the fairies, the genies of this planet are always asking us one question and one question only. What do you want? That's the question. What do you want? Now, a lot of times when we evaluate our advantages and disadvantages, we evaluate them from a perspective of getting off on other people feeling sorry for us, of getting off on being right, even if being right actually puts us at a disadvantage, on getting off on being the underdog in whoever's eyes. We get off so much on what it is that other people think of us, both in ways of making it an excuse for our failure, but also making it a reason for why we won't even try. Often we'll live every day concentrated so much on what we don't want, so hard that we create it over and over and over in our lives. Yes, I am talking about the various and many situations that we have found ourselves in this world. I am a black girl, and it's not lost on me that there are people who would look at me and say I've got so many disadvantages. But I have learned that I have got those same exact things in many cases are also my advantages, because I'm sitting inside the skin that determines whether I can step on those. I've heard a story before of a donkey that was thrown into a pit by a community, and they were like, you know what, this donkey's bad, he always is stubborn, and they spoke bad about him, and they threw this donkey in a ditch, and they threw stones on this donkey. They just kept throwing stones in this ditch and throwing stones, and guess what? The donkey, while sitting in that ditch, did not sit, used every stone that they threw in to step up. Before long, the stones that they threw in that ditch that were meant to kill this donkey had become the stepping stone by which he got out of the ditch. And that is up to the donkey. I know I make an example of a donkey, but it is because every one of us can think ourselves to be a donkey. Yes, it's also called an ass. Every one of ourselves can think ourselves to be a donkey. Every one of ourselves can also think of ourselves to be an innovator, a great person, a person who's got great potential. I'm going to give you a couple of stories, and maybe I will get to a point where I'll even take one from my own life. But I want to give you an example of a person who lived through, for instance, June 16 in 1976 in South Africa. Richard John Pelwana Maponya. I grew up in the same street where Maponya, the shop, was, where there was a little shopping strip called Maponya, before Maponya Mall. And Richard Maponya, he just died earlier this year. He was always dreaming to see Soweto grow to its own flourishing economy. He was born in Limpopo province in 1926. So if people are going to say you can't succeed if you were born in the height of apartheid, he was born in 1926. Let me just help you out. In 1912 was when the struggle really, really heated up in South Africa. Maponya is a property developer best known for building a business empire despite the restrictions apartheid imposed on black South Africans. He was fiercely determined to see Soweto develop economically. At the age of 24, he was a teacher at a time. He took a job as a stock taker at a clothing manufacturer. The manager there sold him soiled clothes and offcuts, which he resold in Soweto. Eventually, he saved enough money to open a clothing retailer in Soweto. Despite being denied a license under the apartheid law restrictions for business ownership for black South Africans, he even hired a law firm, Mandela and Tambo, to help him to get that license. He had every one of the limitations that existed for every 24-year-old in that time, some of whom looked for a job, some of whom, when they didn't find a job, lost their lives at the bottom of a bottle, some of whom became deterred by the laws and the regulations, some of whom went on exile, some of whom went to fight the struggle and sacrifice and give up their own lives. He was undeterred. He continued his life journey towards entrepreneurial greatness. In the early 1950s, Maponya and his wife Marina established Dube Hygienic Dairy, in which he employed boys on bicycles to deliver milk to customers. Let me just remind you, if you live in a township right now, look around and ask yourself this. Of the things you use, of the things in your cupboard, of the things you eat, drink, and do the activities you do every day, who is supplying those to you? Is it businesses that come from nearby towns? Is it businesses that come from the suburbs? Is it businesses that see an opportunity where you sit and not see the opportunity? I've often heard people say things like, there's no money to be made on the internet. And then I think to myself, but there is. You shop online all the time. You order your food online. You order clothes online. You know how to log on to the Facebooks of this world and all of that and transact online. So there is money to be made online, but it's not being made for you. It's made by you for someone else. In 1960, Maponya was a founding member of the first president of the National African Federation Chamber of Commerce, today known as NAFCOC, and the founder and chairman of the African Chamber of Commerce. By the 70s, his clothing empire had grown. He had begun to branch out into other areas, general stores, car dealerships. When I was growing up, he was selling vegetables. Like there were many shops. He had property then, much property that had different kinds of shops right there in Soweto. He was the reason some of the people that lived in Soweto didn't need to take 2 taxis to get into town just to go buy a normal something for everyday living. But it took his persistence. It took him having the right mindset about himself, knowing that just because there are rules that says I can't doesn't mean I shouldn't. Just because there are obstacles doesn't mean I mustn't. Maponya secured the land on which the mall is situated, Maponya Mall, which was built in 2007, which was opened in 2007. His renown and his effect on the economy in Soweto lives on long after. At the time in 2007, the president, our former deputy president, Kgalema Motlanthe, said the development was another milestone for Soweto by the Maponya Group. And as they continue to build sustainable world-class business in Soweto. Maponya Motor City, Maponya Group's ventures have spanned into property development, horse racing, horse breeding, automotive sales, filling stations, liquor stores. There isn't a place he did not go into. Yes, the example I'm talking about is pertaining specifically to business. We oftentimes are so easy to say, but I just want a job. My friend, I want to tell you, if ever you can't get a job, that is maybe a sign that you should start a company. It may just be. If there are doors that are closed in front of you, they are not closed so that you sit down and die. They are closed so that you look for alternatives that come from deep inside you. You know, there's another line that I love very much that says, the path of your life comes from within you. If you see a path already laid out, that is not your path. That is somebody else's path. Your path will come alive as you take a step. Each step will give birth to the next step, and each step will give birth to the next step. What you need to do then is start where you are. Do what you can where you are. I've just told you the story of Ntate Maponya, who started off being a stock taker. And then he went on to own some of the biggest businesses in Soweto up until today. A legacy that is undeniable. When we come back, I'm going to talk about today's youth and what are some of the opportunities that are available for today's youth. Because our lives are in our own hands to do with, to make choices with, and to propel forward in the ways that only we know. I will talk to you about it, but you are the one who ultimately makes a decision. Let's have a song. It's Umsaki, one of my favorite songs, Fetch Your Life. It is so correct for exactly what we are talking about. Of course, we are talking about one thought can change your life forever. Because anybody and everybody can speak words of wisdom into your life, words of encouragement, motivation. They can give you leads. They can tell you what you could possibly do. They can come up with ideas. But the thought you have about yourself, the thought, even if it's a fleeting, quick thought, if you have a thought that says, but I don't know if I'm good enough, that thought becomes the albatross around your neck that keeps you from reaching your full potential. If you have a thought in your mind that says, but I don't know if I'm educated enough, that thought becomes an albatross around your neck. It will keep you from doing the things that you should do. So you're self-conscious about your level of education. Look at how much success you've achieved. Look at what you have done so far in your life. Go ahead and examine how true it is that you're not good enough. How true it is when you have achieved so much already, when you have been able to reach such lengths already. There are people who could never have reached what you have, because of course it's not their path, but it is yours to both appreciate and allow to inspire you to better lengths. If it is that important to you that you need to be more educated, then do something about it. As a matter of fact, there is education all around us. It's not even just about formal education. There is apprenticeships, there is internships, there is offering yourself to someone who is good at what it is you are trying to learn so that you can go and learn that. A lot of times in life, it's because we are stuck in between thinking and believing deeply that there is shortage, that we've got this strong belief. We believe in how much shortage there is in life, how much scarcity there is in life. We're buying into a very dangerous philosophy that is created, that is marketed, that is given to us by capitalists who want us to believe that we have to fight for every scrap. The sky is big enough for all who fly in it. Let me give you an example. I don't have to go far. Look at the lockdown. Look at everything that we have been doing in lockdown. We've suddenly got people who are great bakers. We've got people who are great cooks. We have now suddenly got people who are great gardeners. We have suddenly got people who have learned a skill. We have got a plethora of storytellers. We have got people who came out of the woodwork and started doing the thing that they would always want to do, whether they got paid or not. You're looking for the thing that you can do, you can offer the value you can offer to the world. All the financial advisors that talk about decisions when it comes to investment, when it comes to starting a business, say, look for a thing that you would do, whether you get paid for it or not. And then find a way to offer it as a value for money to someone. Right? We've been in lockdown. I am sure after 81 days, or 7, I don't even know how many days, okay? I decidedly just did not follow it anymore. Yes, I wear my mask, I wash my hands a million times a day and all of that, but I decided that I wasn't going to have my life determined and living around and about specifically this one challenge. It's only one challenge. There's a whole part of my life that is still possible to do. There's a whole world of my life that has opened up purely because I can't go out so much anymore. So I can be inside and do more of the things. I mean, you might have seen our YouTube channel that's gone live. You might have seen some of the posts that we've been doing much more regularly to actually get involved, encouraging people and all of that. We've also been doing a lot of soul searching and a lot of learning and self-development. I mean, one of the things that I did, and if you're interested, you can find the link. I will post it at the bottom of this video. I did what's called Mind Power with Robin Banks, and I've always wanted to do it, and always thought I don't have the time to do that. Lockdown came, and I found a way to actually do it with my son. And guess what? It has reinforced everything that we have been talking about here on the Soul Dive. We've actually decided to partner up to send people to do the Mind Power training, because it helps to do the process of saying, what is it that I have? What is it that I have? Think about it. When you watch TV, the beauty adverts will tell you about the problems they are trying to help you solve. Everyone who's trying to sell you something is pointing out a problem in your life. So it makes sense that you would get consumed thinking about all the problems that exist in your life. But I say, you've got answers within you for questions that are really more important to you. You have questions in your life. For each of us, it is different. You have questions that have been the driving force of your life forever. Answers to those questions are also answers to what will give you the most fulfillment in your life. Trust that. Follow that. Walk with that. You know, I mean, you find people that will say, I can't keep a job. And you find that they take 2 years here, 2 years there, 2 years there, working different, absolutely worlds apart, different types of jobs, only to find that the passion of their lives, the purpose of their lives, the destiny of their lives is going to take every single one of those skills to pull together. But as long as when you look at your CV, you want to put a discount next to each one to say, no, but I didn't enjoy that, so maybe it wasn't valuable. If you put oxygen in it, if you were there, breathing in, breathing out, day out, and experiencing it, then it is part of your belt of tools and qualifications. It is something you can use. Your story hasn't ended yet. Everything about you is an asset that can still bring you fulfillment in life. And I don't mind how old you are, how young you are, wherever you come from, everything that is a uniqueness about you, if you are any description that you can describe, there is a reason and a purpose for why you are everything that you are. Give yourself a chance. Work with everything you've got. The good, the bad, the strangely misshapen. All of it is your character, and it's unique to you, and it's unique to how, even if you were to do something that the person who sits right next to you is doing, because of all these things that make up the funny shaped peanut that is you, you will do it differently. You will have a little bit of a flair. You will have a little bit of a pizzazz about it. You will have a little bit of a touch that will be specific and accurate to every person who comes into your life and needs specifically that from your life. I am all about giving you some examples. So we're going to talk a little bit later about Amina Hershey, who is a great entrepreneur as well. Because you see, the reason I'm taking examples that are about entrepreneurship is because a lot of us are sitting in a place where we are saying we don't have opportunities. But it's because we are trying to solve our lives of today with answers of yesterday. Our great-grandfathers left the rural areas to go and find jobs. So because they were driven to say, find a job, and that is how you're going to feed your family and solve the problems in your life, we are stuck on repeat. That may not be the thing. You have skills that put you on the world stage. Your competitors are not outside of you. They are you. You are your only competition. Let no one despise something about you. Least of all, you. Don't despise anything about you. In this game of life, you are the house, the dealer, the player, the owner, and you hold all the cards. Shuffle and play. If there's something that you have felt is not enough about you, or is they're going to laugh at about you, as a matter of fact, if there's something that you feel that they're going to laugh about when they look at you, that is so fantastic, because it means you have got an idea. You've got an idea of what the one thing that has everybody's attention when they look at you is. Fisha ngayo mtasekhaya. That is your thing. That is your thing. Polish it, buff it, put it on top, use it to attract your tribe. Because that thing, I've heard some of the comedians, some of the funniest comedians in the world say something like, in the old days, if you had, I'm sorry children, but if you had a foot fetish, you'd be a weirdo sitting in a corner by yourself. You've got a foot fetish. Whoop-de-doop-de-doo, you're so weird. But now in the internet age, you can go online and search the specific words to do with your particular strangeness. And there's an entire tribe that has the same, shares the same, and in fact, dances to the same drum beat. You see? That one thing that you think is a thing that you must be tossed outside for. Do not let that be something someone else can use against you. That is your asset. That is something that you should buff and polish and put on the pedestal and look at it and find all the possible advantages about it, because there is an advantage about it. I told you I was going to tell you about Amina Heshi. She started her business by selling nails, as in hardware nails. She grew up in a rural area in Somalia. And in her family, and in most families in Somalia at the time, it was known that a girl child should be kept indoors. So even if you got married and found a job, you couldn't be educated too much, because ultimately you're going to just be indoors somewhere and you're going to have to just keep the family and whatever, and your path is pretty much written out for you. She says her mother said to her, don't be writing business plans, what. You don't know anything about that. Do what you know about. Sell nails. She sold nails. Like when her business had grown to such an extent that she was known in an entire countryside for selling that, she found it more difficult to diversify into other parts of business than to actually continue selling nails, because people by word of mouth knew that if you go to that town in that neighborhood, you can find a woman who will sell you a pound of nails, and this is how much it costs. And she was doing multinational deals selling nails. Her mother advised her to begin where she was, and that's what she carries with. She's been interviewed extensively all over the world, because of course she launched the first sugar factory in northern Uganda, Ajak Sugar Factory, which will brings revenue and development for the region, and is championed as the first large-scale industrial project for northern Uganda. She's also one of the city's largest distributors of cement and other hardware materials, with successful business ventures throughout Uganda. She's become a beacon of hope and a motivating role model for young African girls. She says the opportunity in Africa is big, even in a place where women are not allowed to own land, and women in some places of Africa still have a problem of education. That is some of the examples I look at. I also look at myself. I look in the mirror when I want to inspire myself, because there's been many opportunities to fail. Sometimes I have rolled up and laid down and taken the opportunity. But you know what? When it has been an opportunity that is linked to my destiny, that is linked to that one thing that I will do even if you do not pay me a cent, you cannot keep me in bed. You cannot keep me away from doing it. Because in my worst day, in my worst mood, when I'm feeling the sickest, I can still motivate someone to find within themselves that which is great and use it to propel themselves further. In my when I am most miserable, I could be standing on a ledge about to kill myself, see another person who's about to kill themselves. And I promise you, I would rather go and speak to them and say to them, you know what? Here are some of the things, and ask them and bring them out and shine a mirror in their face that says, you are worthy, you are possible, you are a seed, you are a possibility. And then I remember, even me, I am that also. That which I seek to tell others, to encourage them, I am all of those things too. So what's my main message today? Don't be stuck in your struggle so much that you fail to recognize opportunity. It's Youth Day today. Today's youth, the youth of South Africa, this country that's got NYDA, CEDA, Triple BE, the youth in this day are crying that they are unemployed, that they are graduates with certificates with no jobs. They even cry that xenophobia is valid because these foreigners, quote unquote, take our jobs because they are cheap labor. Well, hold on. Dasekai, ask yourself this. You've got NYDA, you are under 35, you are a woman. You looking for a job? The government is looking, all of us as a country, the world is looking for entrepreneurs. The world is looking for movers and shakers and people who are innovative, who are going to bring solutions, and then go ahead and hire the cheap labor that you are so desperate to compete with. Stop competing with them. Those are your employees. Make your company. Yes, it's not easy. I'm not taking it for granted. But I'm telling you now from personal knowledge that if you go to CEDA, they will help you with your first registration. They will help you register that company. They will help you conceptualize it. They will help you write the business plan. And they will even help you to find people to mentor you to make it work. So you'd rather go and spend your parents' money in 4 years of school so that you can come back and say, somebody help me. No. Wait. Let us talk about the opportunities you currently already have that you are sitting on. Let us not squander opportunities. We are consumers of so many new technologies, but oftentimes we don't think to take those same technologies to advance ourselves. Even when we start businesses, a large majority of us will start catering, construction, all the businesses that our mothers and our grandmothers in 1992, 1994 started when things opened up. But you are a qualified engineer. Why aren't you starting an engineering related business? You've got qualifications. Evaluate your gifts and your opportunities afresh. Don't stop looking. Avert your eyes from the reasons you can't succeed and turn your face to the sun. Turn your face to all that feeds you, all that gives you strength, all that says you are able and can. And say, even me, I will do that. Hashtag even me. Hashtag emancipate your mind. The freedom is here. You are our freedom. You are our hope and you are our seed. Take what you have. Do what you find to do with your hands. I have news for you. If you're still scared to own an online business because you're not sure you're going to make money, Yeah, Africans, use your tongue to count your teeth. That's what your great-grandmother would have said. Before joining the chorus of how disadvantaged you are, ask yourself a question. What advantages do I have that I am yet to use? Go to your drawer, open it up, check everything in there, take stock, fold anything you can't use, give away. But everything in there is in there because it is your tool, your privilege, and your opportunity. Make a commitment to use them. Make a commitment to use them. I'm going to leave the last couple of minutes so that we can play out with a song. But this is what I want you to know. This is the Soul Dive. And every week we have a call to action. Every single week on the Soul Dive, we have a call to action. Here is the call to action for this week. If you missed it, I'm going to tell you again. Check yourself. Make a list. Make a list of what it is that you are capable of. No matter how small, no matter how big, no matter what it is. If you are stuck, ask your friends. People who care about you often know what you're good at, what you are not good at. Even what you are not good at can be an opportunity, because your very journey, learning to be better at it, you can take someone else on that journey, and it can be an opportunity for you to make a living for yourself. The decision that you are wanting to make is not made based on money. It is based on fulfillment, value, and usefulness. You are useful, you have value, and you can be fulfilled. If you really, really don't know how to better your circumstances, make a comment on this video. And me and our friends will put our heads together to make suggestions to you. Better still, if you are so unsure about your life purpose that you are thoroughly and completely lost, inbox me. I am a heart intelligence coach. I will give you 30 minutes of consultation for free to talk to you and see what it is and unpack what it is that you are capable of. Right? I make that commitment to you. I'm asking you in return to make a commitment to me to use every single advantage that you have, because you have them. There are many. Use them. This has been the Soul Dive. My name is Lebo. I thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate any moment that you get to spend this time with us. Remember, get in touch with us. Speak to us about what it is that is true and real for you in your life. We are always here for you. This is the Soul Dive. Thank you. Mwah.